Michael Turner had always believed he'd seen the worst life could throw at him, until the night he saw that man lean in close to the waitress and whisper something that made her entire body tremble. Her eyes darted to Michael's for a fraction of a second, wide, desperate, and silently begging for help. In that single moment, the air in the small-town diner grew thick, and Michael's heart clenched in his chest. He didn't know her name, didn't know her story, but something deep in his soul told him that what was happening in front of him wasn't right. Before we dive deeper into this emotional journey, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you believe in kindness, courage, and second chances. Your support helps us share more heart-touching stories that remind the world that compassion still exists. Michael was a 38-year-old single father, raising his 10-year-old daughter, Lily, in a small town in Northern California. Life hadn't been easy since his wife, Emily, passed away from breast cancer 3 years ago. Every morning was a balancing act, packing lunches, dropping Lily off at school, rushing to his construction job, and then coming home to cook dinner while helping her with homework. The house felt emptier than it used to, but he did his best to fill it with laughter and love, even when his heart still ached from the loss. On that particular Friday evening, Michael had promised Lily they'd grab dinner out, just the two of them. It had been a long week, and she'd earned it after getting an A on her math test. They chose Marlene's Diner, a cozy, old-fashioned restaurant with red leather booths and the faint hum of country music in the background. Their waitress was a young woman named Anna, maybe in her late 20s, with chestnut hair tied in a messy bun and tired eyes that still managed to shine when she smiled. She was gentle with Lily, joking about the size of her chocolate milkshake and making sure her fries were extra crispy. There was a kindness in her that Michael noticed immediately, the kind of warmth that came from someone who'd seen pain but still chose to be gentle with the world. But something about her seemed off that night. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes, and she flinched every time the bell above the diner door jingled. As Michael and Lily waited for their food, a man walked in, tall, rugged, wearing a dark jacket and an expression that made the room seem colder. He looked around before spotting Anna, and his lips curled into a grin that wasn't friendly. She froze for a heartbeat, her knuckles tightening around the tray she carried. Michael noticed immediately. The man slid into a booth near the back, and Anna hesitated before approaching him. She tried to mask her fear with professionalism, but Michael could see her hands trembling as she set down his coffee. Then the man leaned in close and whispered something. Michael couldn't hear the words, but he saw Anna's expression change. The faint color drained from her face, and her eyes flickered toward Michael's booth. That's when it happened, that silent plea. Her eyes met his, wide and terrified, begging for something she couldn't say out loud. Michael's instincts screamed at him. He didn't know who the man was, but every fiber of his being told him that Anna was in danger. Lily noticed too, whispering softly, "Daddy." That lady looked scared. He placed a comforting hand over Lily's and whispered, "Stay here, sweetheart." Michael's mind raced as he pretended to go refill his coffee at the counter. He caught snippets of their conversation, the man's low, threatening tone and Anna's trembling voice almost inaudible. Words like money, tonight, and no more chances floated through the air. His stomach twisted. The man's hand brushed her wrist as he spoke again, and she jerked away. Not dramatically, but enough to make Michael's heart pound harder. He had a choice. Ignore it and mind his business, or trust his instincts and do something. He thought of Emily, how she used to volunteer at women's shelters, how she always told him, "If you see someone hurting, don't look away." So he didn't. Michael pulled out his phone under the counter, pretending to check messages, and quietly typed a text to the local sheriff's office, his old high school friend, Deputy Mark Sanderson. He described the situation as calmly as possible, adding that the waitress might be in danger. Mark texted back instantly, "Keep her safe. We're on our way." Back at the table, the man stood up abruptly and walked out the door. But his glare at Anna before leaving was chilling, like a promise that he'd be back. Anna hurried into the kitchen, visibly shaking. When she returned, her eyes were glassy, but she forced a smile and said softly, "Everything okay here?" Michael nodded gently and said, "Yeah, but are you okay?" For a second, her mask cracked. Tears welled up, and she quickly blinked them away, whispering, "Please. Just don't get involved." She turned before he could say anything more. Michael's heart ached. She was clearly trapped in something awful. Maybe an abusive relationship, maybe debt, maybe worse. Whatever it was, he couldn't just walk away. About 10 minutes later, flashing lights appeared outside. 2 officers entered quietly, one of them Mark. They spoke to Anna discreetly at the counter, and she broke down crying right there, her knees nearly giving out. Michael quickly got Lily and stood aside, his heart racing as the officers gently led Anna to a booth to talk. After a few minutes, Mark approached Michael. "She's safe now," he said softly. "That guy's been harassing her for months. Turns out he's her ex-boyfriend, the kind who doesn't take no for an answer. She filed restraining orders, but he kept finding her. You did the right thing calling us." Michael exhaled deeply, feeling a mix of relief and heartbreak. He glanced at Anna, who was now sitting with her face in her hands, sobbing quietly. Lily tugged at his sleeve and whispered, "Daddy, can we help her?" That night, Michael couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Anna, about how many people probably saw her pain and did nothing. The next day, he returned to the diner. She wasn't working, but the manager told him she'd taken a few days off. Michael left a small envelope at the counter. Inside was a note and a phone number. The note read, "You're not alone. If you ever need help, call. You deserve peace and safety. Michael and Lily." 2 weeks passed. One evening, his phone buzzed. A hesitant voice on the other end whispered, "Michael, it's Anna." She was staying in a shelter arranged by the sheriff's office, but didn't know what to do next. Her life was a mess. No family nearby, no place to live, and too afraid to return to her old apartment. Michael offered to help her get back on her feet. No strings attached, just kindness. Over time, Anna began helping him with Lily after school, and their friendship grew naturally. She was gentle, caring, and brought warmth back into the house that had been missing since Emily's passing. She never talked much about her past, but one night, sitting on the porch as the sun set, she opened up. She told Michael about how she'd fallen for the wrong man. Charming at first, but controlling, jealous, and violent later. She tried to leave, but he stalked her, destroyed her confidence, and isolated her. She'd been living in fear for years, working at the diner just to survive. Michael listened quietly, his heart heavy but full of admiration. She had endured so much and still managed to be kind to others. "You're stronger than you think," he told her gently. Months passed, and slowly, Anna began to heal. She found a small apartment, started taking night classes, and even got promoted at work. Lily adored her. She often said, "Daddy, Anna makes the house feel like mommy's here again." That hit Michael right in the heart. One evening, they all went back to Marlene's diner, the place where it all began. The same red booths, the same faint country tune playing in the background. But this time, everything felt different. Anna was smiling, genuinely smiling, and Michael could see peace in her eyes for the first time. When they sat down to eat, Anna reached across the table and said softly, "You saved my life that night. I don't even want to think about what would have happened if you hadn't been there." Michael shook his head. "No," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "You saved yourself. I just noticed." Tears filled her eyes and she squeezed his hand. Lily looked at them both, beaming. As the evening sun spilled through the window, painting everything gold, Michael realized that sometimes life brings broken people together not to stay broken, but to heal each other. Months later, Anna became part of their little family in every way that mattered. She and Michael didn't rush anything. Love wasn't something either of them chased, but something that quietly bloomed. Lily called her mom one day by accident, and instead of correcting her, Anna just cried and hugged her tight. The scars of the past didn't disappear overnight. But they found something far more powerful, a reason to believe in goodness again. Before we close this story, if this journey touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to support more emotional real-life stories like this one. Your engagement helps us reach others who may need a little hope today. Special request. Comment below. What would you have done if you were in Michael's place that night? Because sometimes one small act of courage can change someone's entire life. And for Michael, that one act didn't just save Anna, it saved him too.